Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rotoworld Football Show, Thursday, March 5th, 2026. I'm Patrick Daugherty, joined by Denny Carter, Kyle Dvorchak. Nothing has changed in any of our personal lives since Tuesday, but a lot has changed in the National Football League. Kyler Murray has been released. Alec Pierce somehow released to the open market. Stefon Diggs released. Darnell Mooney released. Free agency is nigh. The tampering, which would usually imply illegality, is legal in the NFL beginning Monday. I feel like they need to rebrand this entire thing to maybe a more understandable concept such as free agency, because it is free agency that is beginning on Monday, even though it technically begins Denny Wednesday afternoon, I believe at 4 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, a lot going on in the NFL. Nothing going on with any of us though. How are you guys doing?
Nothing. By the way, I do think that they are trying to rebrand that Monday thing, the legal tampering. And I believe our buddy ESPN's Field Yates is trying out that phrase. And I can't remember what the phrase is, but I've seen him use it on TV several times. I can't recall.
Very successful rebrand since we know.
I mean, we've been calling it, legal tampering forever. So it'll take a while, but we appreciate Field introducing that into our vernacular. Whatever.
Denny will look into it very powerfully.
We're going to look into it so strongly. You don't even know. Yeah. So you have a baby and you have a fifth child. Kyle and I were talking on Tuesday's podcast about this idea, and you see it like online, especially like in like the hustle culture circles of the internet, like 48 ways to like get sleep when you have a baby. Like you can sleep max even when you have a baby, and you can't. No. And we were talking about the fact that you and I had a brief exchange where, you're trying to go to bed early, I mean, because you're a night owl.
Which is Denny knows, yes.
You're a night owl. You like to stay up. And you've thrown that part out, right? Which is good. I think that's the right thing to do. But you're still not getting much sleep because again, you can't do it with the baby. So you're trying to hack it. I appreciate your effort.
Impossible to sleep. It's been the baby. Listen, I love the little guy. His name's Lewis. We really struggled on a name, by the way. But Lewis went out. It's really growing on me. I think I like it even. Lewis decided to be. So listen, there's really no good time for a baby to be born, or no easy time, I should say. The hardest time might be 1:10 a.m. The baby was born at 1:10 a.m., which precluded going to sleep of any kind.
Yeah.
So did not sleep Friday night, and it was really easy to recover from a lost night of sleep with a newborn.
So easy.
And all I'll say to the folks out there, I know what you might be thinking. Why would anyone have 5 kids? And is Pat part of a cult? Is Pat taking directives from the Bishop of Rome? I hear he might be Catholic. I'm not in a cult. The Pope didn't order me to have a baby. The honest answer is we don't really know why we keep having so many kids. We just keep planning to have one more. Like, might as well have one more. We are done, by the way. But to this point, though, this is not a joke. This week, I found out about someone who had a 6th child. And the first thought that popped into my head was, man, so-and-so is crazy. I just don't know why you would ever do it. And then
huge difference.
My brain's like, hold on a minute, playa. Might have to hit you with the challenge flag there. What's the real difference between 5 and 6? And I have no good answer.
Just the one digit. Yeah. So my first kid, my son, was born at I think 2 a.m. And so we rushed. It was actually, if I can just be honest with you guys, it was right after I won a very important fantasy football championship and was celebrating a little bit. And
it's a shame that you had to tell that kid, like, this is the second best moment of the past 24 hours for me.
I mean, I would say they're tied. And so my wife woke me up at midnight.
The hospital, then. Interesting.
And that's a rough one. That's a rough one, I would say.
It's a real rough one. My wife, so she's a little used to it, as you might imagine, having so many kids, and she did not let us leave home till 12:15. And so I don't know if you can do the math there, but leaving home to delivering of the baby was rather frenzied.
She took the airport approach of, like, if you've never missed your flight, you're always showing up.
Well, this Denny knows my wife does do at the airport. She's taught that to me, and I've adopted that approach. And she was pretty confident she wasn't going to miss the flight. And it's
a bad approach. I'll be straight with you.
We made the flight, didn't we? We made the flight. And so the nurses were not coming into the room. And I had to go out there. I'm like, yeah, listen, she's pretty far along. And they never believe you either. They always think like no one has any clue what's going on. Like, they're used to like first time coming in and thinking like, oh, the baby's coming any minute. Like the baby's gonna be born in 2 days. Typically the nurse's stock response. So then I had to add, it's our 5th child, thereby implying expertise. Like,
I know what I'm doing.
Yes. And then, not even kidding. After I said that, they were kind of like,
oh yeah.
And they sprang into action.
You'd be like, I'm the Joe Flacco of having kids,
So
it's crazy that Philip Rivers is the Philip Rivers of being Philip Rivers, and he's also the Philip Rivers.
Right.
I'm getting so many Rivers jokes. It's not even funny. All right. It's not even
guys,
funny.
listeners of the show, it would not be funny if one of you crops Pat's head onto the Vince Carter, I got one more in me, about him having one more kid.
So all of a sudden it's illegal to try to single-handedly prop up the nation's birth rate.
It's not illegal.
You can't do that all by yourself anymore.
I mean, you can.
Yeah, I hear everyone hand-wringing about this. All of a sudden it's really bad if one person just keeps having kids. No, we're done though. We love our completed family. We love football. We love fantasy football. We love the implications when big-name players change teams. Denny Carter, DJ Moore, who was terrible last year, ended the Bears season, who didn't finish multiple routes, has been traded to the Bills. The Bills are loving wide receiver reclamation projects. Typically, when the receiver is like beforehand, it's like, I'll be totally up front. I have nothing left. Amari Cooper, like, you guys can trade for me. I got nothing, dog. Like, I absolutely got nothing. I'm just going to be totally straight with you. And the Bills keep taking flyers on these kind of players. Denny, is DJ Moore that kind of player, or is there more left here than meets the eye?
I'm going to be real with you guys. I'm not bearish on this situation. And
that's a very straightforward, not at all clunky.
Listen, I'm not bullish. Okay, that's. I mean, let me be clear. Okay, I'm not bullish. All right, and here's why. You guys are going to be so mad. Listen, I feel like you can't discount the fact that Ben Johnson was out on DJ Moore within 0.001 seconds of arriving in Chicago.
Now, why would that be? Why would an incredibly intelligent, immediately successful head coach,
why would maybe arguably already the best coach in the NFL, immediately give up on a player?
That's a question that I've asked, and I don't have a good answer. I don't have the answer that I want. So I looked into the numbers a little bit, and it was actually inspired by my guy, and I have to give him credit here because these are great stats. These are stats that are irrefutable. They're going to put you guys in a blender. Okay. So Scott Spratt
we're getting crossed over right now by you.
I'm about to do the Allen Iverson, I swear. My guy Scott Spratt on Blue Sky, check him out. He posted this today, and it made me think. It might make you think. So Caleb Williams, good year last year, really good compared to his rookie year. And DJ Moore had a 64.7% catchable target rate in 2025. That was the 10th lowest among wide receivers. Josh Allen last year had the 4th highest on target pass percentage and could be, according to Scott, a big upgrade as a passer. Now, I looked further into it, and he's right. Like,
so you looked further into Josh Allen being better than Caleb Williams.
But like as a passer,
get him, Pat.
Way
get
better.
him.
No, as a passer, way better. So here's
again. You looked.
Listen. I'm not even done. I'm not done. I got 15 more minutes.
I'm done. I'm over it. I've had 5 kids. I don't give a bleep anymore. I'm calling out everyone's bleep.
I have 15 to 18 more minutes of explanation. Now, only Michael Penix, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, and Russell Wilson had a lower catchable pass rate in 2025 than Caleb Williams. His on-target rate was in line with J.J. McCarthy and Cam Ward. I'm just saying that you give a guy a huge upgrade at quarterback, you can't dismiss him. And that's how I'm approaching the DJ Moore situation.
Kyle, what I would say about Caleb is I think he was attempting a lot riskier throws than J.J. McCarthy or Cam Ward. Not that explains all that away. Also, should I adopt like an angry truth teller persona now that I've had yet another child?
Only if you targeted Denny, because it was really funny when you targeted Denny. But if you did me, I'd feel bad, and you should worry about that.
Denny did hit on a pretty important truth. I don't think he really needed any stats to back it up. Josh Allen, turbo better than Caleb Williams.
Well, okay, I'm surprised to hear that, because I thought the perception was nobody can be better than Caleb Williams.
No.
And Kyle,
stop. Cut his mic.
Also, too, I think I was only with Denny when I floated this idea. I can't remember if you were here or not. DJ Moore is kind of the archetype of the receiver, like Stefon Diggs, like AJ Brown, who receivers are a different kind of personality. They're just different kind of dudes. They operate on some like really like abnormal wavelength that not only like the general public doesn't operate on, but like most other NFL players, they burn very brightly. They tend to wear out their welcome somewhere. Is it a classic? Like he still has something left in the tank, but just it wasn't like he needed to move on. Like that kind of player like tends to grind on a coaching staff. It was a new coaching staff, but is there anything to that? Maybe like DJ Moore still has something left. He just needs to go somewhere else where he is starting fresh and the team is starting fresh with him.
Yeah, I buy this argument more with AJ Brown, but I don't think you can 100% say that DJ Moore is just physically washed, that he doesn't have anything left in the tank, because we know with 100% certainty that there are at least individual plays that I watched with my own two eyes that he was not giving it his all in the past 2 years. I mean, I literally watched him walk off the field in the middle of a play and then like make up an ankle injury or whatever, as if any other player has ever injured their ankle during the game or during a play and then walked it off. None of them walk it off. He's the only one I've ever seen walk that off in the middle of the play.
Quite literally walk it off.
Yeah. He tried to walk it off with Caleb Williams still holding the ball behind the back.
And he's going into the tunnel.
Yeah. Caleb Williams holds the ball long enough. He might have had time to walk the tunnel, to be clear. So effort 100%. I mean, Ben Johnson, as we talked about, Ben Johnson was out on him right away. I think that stems from one of Ben Johnson's like first comments with the team, was just something passive aggressive, bordering on aggressive.
It wasn't really pay. I was more aggressive.
I guess it was polite aggressive. I don't think he meant it to be like, I hate DJ Moore. Just like, I get that DJ Moore's had some body language issues. I can probably fix him. I don't know if he didn't fix him, but he fixed the team. So I'm sure it works well enough for the Bears. But it was clear that there has been some sort of discontent with DJ Moore. That being said, it is also hard to ignore just how drastic the drop-off in production has been. And I agree with Denny that Caleb, for all of the things he improved on, still just like airballs a lot of throws relative to just how good he can be, I think. But I don't think that excuses the fact that DJ Moore's target earning potential, in which he was a really strong target earner throughout his career, and his targets per out run fell off the face of the earth last year. That doesn't explain that. The fact that DJ Moore couldn't get targeted. The fact that DJ Moore had, I believe, his second worst season by yak per catch of his entire career. Worst season of his career by PFF receiving grade. All these marks where they're far from perfect, right? But they at least maybe have some ability to tease out player talent versus situation. None of those were favorable to him either. I definitely think, like I said, some of that is him personally and not what he physically has. But if he turns into the next Amari Cooper with the Bills, would it surprise me? Not at all. He's been on a downward trajectory for years.
A few final thoughts in the situation where, Ben Johnson comes in. He's one of those guys, one of those coaches where like, I'm the star of the show. Like, let's get one thing correct here. Like the coach, the star of the show, has a super precise offense. He brought in a lot of his own guys, quote unquote, right off the jump. It stands to reason that a veteran like DJ Moore is going on 30. He's been on a bunch of different teams. Like, might not like fit well with this guy. Like, this guy is like trying to micromanage like every last part of my route. The Bills, I think, are going to be a less precise offense. They're a very efficient offense, kind of a risk-averse offense. But Josh Allen is one of the guys, like, not that Caleb Williams won't do this, of course, but like Josh Allen will like roll out and like let you ad-lib a route, kind of. He might just be a better fit from that perspective. Denny, also, one final thought on DJ Moore, though. Our guy has not missed a game since 2020. That's despite being constantly hurt, like occasionally hospitalized. And I just don't know. Like, he could be physically really, really in decline. But he's with the Bills. He's with Josh Allen. Do we feel comfortable calling him a wide receiver 2, like in a vacuum?
No.
He
was dreadful last year. He was.
He was.
But new attitude, Kyle.
Yeah,
and I mean, it does make a difference. Yeah. And he's a wide receiver, so he's going to be moody just naturally. So you get him in the right spot with Josh Allen throwing him precise passes instead of Caleb Williams sailing it 15 feet over his head. I think that makes a difference.
This total slander. He should sue you for libel.
Hey, listen, I will credit him. He made that one good throw in the playoffs, so that I do credit him for that. Here's the thing, though, that makes me not bullish on DJ Moore is that he's going to lose out. I don't see him running many slot routes at all because that's Dalton Kincaid's area, and that's
Dalton. No one's ever jumped Dalton Kincaid on the
it's
targets.
Khalil Shakir and it's Dalton Kincaid. I mean, how many slot guys can you have? So he's going to be operating.
You can have one good slot guy. The Bills now have one good slot guy in DJ Moore. So.
I don't know about that.
God.
Yeah, I feel like that's completely off. But so DJ Morris has been worse on the boundary as you might expect, and that makes me a little bit hesitant. But I think he will be a thing in fantasy this year, unlike last year where he was not a thing in 12-team leagues.
He will be a thing. I guess we'll spend the entire offseason litigating how much of a thing. Sometimes you need to change up your view in life, just either force a trade to Josh Allen or have a fifth kid. Both very, very similar. Josh Allen also having a kid. But if having kids is so weird, why is Josh Allen doing it?
Yeah, I don't hear anything about that.
If playing for the Arizona Cardinals were so – Kyler's been released. He desperately wanted to be released. They desperately wanted to release him. It is salary cap carnage for the Arizona Cardinals, which – I guess, do you guys understand the offset money thing? And I've seen some people, Kyle, positing he might play for like the league minimum. Is this like an offset language thing? Kyler's going to have a new team, probably honestly on Monday. Where do we think this all ends up with Kyler Murray?
Yeah, I don't need to get into the nitty-gritty details of the off language, but basically it is that because Arizona cut him, they are on the hook for paying him a certain amount of money.
Like a truly astronomical amount of money.
Yeah, and any team that pays him for at least 2026, I believe it's only for 2026, I think it's up to a certain amount that he would never make this year. That money is all basically footed the bill for by Arizona. So he cannot make any extra money this year.
And Kyler's also like an axe to grind type guy. I think he'll be totally fine. Like, just send the bill to the Cardinals. Like, I'll play.
Yeah. So if a team paid him, let's say a team like in theory was giving him a 1-year, $3 million contract, that would just be footed by like that's offset. That's why they call it offset language.
Yeah.
Offset
so like
by Arizona, but the same as 1 year, $10 million.
I think he's gonna want like the league minimum. Yeah, like send it all. Have Arizona pay for all of this stuff. No, I got this card. Like they're not even checking the invoices at all, dude.
Yeah. So there's given like what he can realistically quote make this year, there's no contract a team could sign him to that the bill wouldn't just be footed entirely by Arizona. So he doesn't stand to gain anything by getting a 1 year, 5, 10, 15. I want to say the number's like 36 if I remember correctly. Either way, no matter what contract in theory a team would offer him, it gets footed by Arizona, which means in practice, he just takes the league minimum because it doesn't change how much cash he receives, how much money he receives, but it does change the cap hit that his upcoming team has to endure. Mm-hmm. So it's Russell Wilson had this happen to him. I believe it was with the Giants or whatever. But long story short, a team will sign him for ultimately probably the veteran minimum because it doesn't change.
Kyle, he has further incentive to do that too because he's going to have as good a year as possible. It's the rare time where a player and the team are aligned in taking a team-friendly deal. He's like, make me look good. Like, make me
100%. Yeah, like you said, it is truly one of very, very few times where 100% he and his team are aligned in that they cannot actually give him more money in a realistic sense, but he can give them back cap space by taking a league minimum deal. So they are 100% aligned. And by obviously taking a league minimum deal, his team gets more cap space to hopefully spend on players to help him, whether it be on offense or make the defense better, which is why, because his cap hit in terms of what he has this year is functionally irrelevant, like Minnesota. Like it allows him to pick the best spot to maximize his talent as opposed to, oh, well, the Jets, like
it's basically RIP Jets because the Jets would win this argument for about money and they're not going to win this argument on any other grounds. And it's not about money now.
Yeah. So to me, that's why right now he screams Minnesota because they, of all the teams looking for a quarterback, they have the best wide receiver among teams looking for a quarterback, probably the best wide receiver too among teams looking for a quarterback, one of the best coach teams, again, like among teams that actually are desperate for a QB. All of those fit perfectly with Kyler Murray, who is right now just trying to revive his career and his image. Like he doesn't stand to benefit.
He doesn't care about his image, but
yeah, maybe not.
I did see that Trey McBride put on a brave face and posted online that he would miss Kyler Murray.
Come on. right.
I thought that was the right thing to do.
That was
Trey,
nice. Agent gave him good advice on that.
if you're listening,
Well, I was
buddy,
going to say his PR guy did a good job.
like,
on it.
dude, delete the 5 poop emojis. And
You
put out a
had-
real statement.
listen, Trey, you had to do it. There was no other choice.
Mhm.
And everyone's gonna know you're lying. It's fine.
And I'm glad you stripped out the line. You tried to tank my career. That was unnecessary. I think.
So Denny, I guess our fell for it again. Kirk Cousins Vikings thing. I agree at this point. The fact that they didn't trade him, that they bit the bullet and cut him, I just don't. I really don't see how he does not end up with the unless he's too toxic of a personality, and the Vikings just refuse to do that. But I do see almost no path where Kyler Murray does not end up with the Vikings at this point.
It makes too much sense. I feel like him and Justin Jefferson not going to be best buds.
No. Sometimes, occasionally, anti-chemistry can be like the best kind of chemistry.
Yeah.
It never has been with Kyler.
No,
Never worked. Not even once with Kyler.
It works with good quarterbacks like Brady and Peyton. Like Peyton, like I got to kill my receiver on this.
Yeah, true. It
Like-
worked all the time with Peyton.
Yeah, and Brady occasionally too would just lose his mind on some player on the sidelines, and then they would make up because they're both great. I don't know if Kyler fits that bill. But
Aaron Rodgers, probably the best anti-chemistry player in the history of the league.
Yep, obviously. Yeah.
Also had legit chemistry. With
I mean, he tried to like end Devontae Adams.
He did
Several times.
So our next show is going to be on Tuesday. I bet by then we will be talking about where Kyler Murray has ended up, and I bet by then it'll be Minnesota. We were going to talk about where Alec Pierce ended. Oh, no, we are going to talk about it. That's right. I'm operating on very little sleep. Alec Pierce has reached free. I was doing the read as if he were not reaching free agency.
Yeah, I was a little freaked out. I was like, wait, what?
It's because the Colts prioritized transition tagging. Daniel Jones
What's going on?
has never, ever been good. Alec Pierce has only been good once, but it was last year. And teams are frothing at the mouth to sign him. Denny Carter. Let's just start from the top here. Does he end up with an elite team? I put like the Bills. The Bills already made their move and got DJ Moore. And really financially risky move, by the way. The Bills took on like a lot of cap risk and money.
Well, at least they spent very little in terms of the way of draft capital. Ian Rappaport said it's a mid-round pick. Let me see what he defines as a mid-round pick. A second-round pick? And Rappaport called it a mid-round pick?
Wow, man. Down horrific all around there. But so it won't be the Bills.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs, though, the Patriots. Where do we see Alec Pierce? Or is it going to be a bad team who can afford just dole out the most money, the Tennessee Titans? What kind of archetype of team do you expect Alec Pierce to end up with?
He strikes me as the sort of player who is probably not great and who looked great at times last year.
Sorry to immediately cut you off. I really do think he's good, but I think he's like an elite role player, which maybe is an oxymoron. He should be your field stretching number 3 receiver, maybe number 2, but he's going to get paid like a number 1.
But the Titans are going to pay him like a number 1.
Yes.
Let's just be real. And that won't be good for fantasy. It'll be good for him. He'll make a lot of money. And that's what he said. I mean, he said in an interview, I have the right to go explore what's out there. He's not coming back. Like, let's be very clear. He is not returning to the Colts. They've lost him. 17% target per route run last year. Not that impressive. He is a downfield guy, so you wouldn't expect that to be super high. I'm sorry, 19%, 17% of the season's last 6 weeks. It just concerns me a little bit that he's going to be miscast, like you said, Pat. I would bank on him going to a really bad team.
What if so amongst teams with the most calorie space? Calories.
Gosh,
Mhm.
good God.
Can't. Sorry.
Man. The brain.
That was particularly bad. Teams with the most salary cap space per the article released on our website yesterday. These numbers have probably been updated. The Seahawks have the 6th most salary cap
Wow.
space. Alec Pierce to the Seahawks would strike me as almost
That
a
be
dream come
cool.
true.
I mean,
it's what they wanted Rashid Shaheed to be, and that
Yes.
just did not ever work out.
did not work.
right. I mean, look, Alec Pierce would go there. He would see exactly 2 targets per game.
It's true. That's
Every
true.
3 weeks, it'd be a 50-yard touchdown. Zeros between them. But,
Any chance he goes to the Chiefs or the Patriots? Any chance? And we have to hear about that.
Patriots,
You
kind
guys
of
follow them?
possible. Patriots have some money. They have a quarterback on a rookie contract. I could see it, but they do seem to be really leading the charge, like in the AJ Brown sweepstakes, which is funny because early in the offseason, the AJ Brown discourse was like, contract just can't be traded. And people are like, well, you know, Howie's worked his magic in the past. And then Ian Rappaport, as of this morning, like just called it the AJ Brown sweepstakes. Like it's the least well-kept secret in the NFL. So yeah, I mean, it needs to happen. And I think the Patriots are maybe not all in on that, but certainly leading the charge to get AJ Brown. They also kind of have Alec Pierce types in Kayshon Boutte and Mac Hollins, operate similar parts of the field, probably win more as 50-50 guys than speed guys. But I do think the overlap in the skill set there might make it hard for him to find a spot in the Patriots organization.
It is an overlap of the skill set. He probably is a fairly significant upgrade on both those players.
I agree with that, yeah.
I do think it's going to come down to probably the Commanders or the Tennessee Titans. If it's the Commanders, I feel like they should let Daniel Snyder come back from a super yacht, let him ceremonially be the one who signs the deal. Try to bury the hatchet a little bit.
No, Pat, you got to listen to Tuesday show. I was the one who reused that joke already this week. I'm pretty sure it was on Tuesday I did.
Wow. Nevertheless, never owned. It's a really good one. According to Denny, you know who's not really good is Stefon Diggs. He has been cut. Denny, is he done? You say yes. Kyle has said no. Have you changed your thoughts, opinions on this since the last time we talked about it, like 4 days ago?
It's hard to square for me because, yes, I acknowledge that he made the spreadsheets go burr. He had top 8 in yards per route run, top 20-ish in targets per route run. That's cool. And I think noteworthy. But, you know, he ran like 65% of the routes, and through much of the season, it was around 50%. It's hard to square. Like if he was so important and good, why was he not playing more? Why did they not unleash him?
Curious.
And, you know, it makes me wonder if he can be unleashed in that way. And if he is, he's not going to maintain that efficiency, obviously. So I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that he's done-ish, maybe not completely done. He could be a scam. I could see him going to an offense where he's a PPR scam, but beyond that, I'm not sure.
Kyle, he's probably done as an every snap player. Would you at least agree with that? Where it's a copycat league. Once you get typecast as something, it's usually hard to shed that. And he's over 30. I guess he's been maybe typecast as a rotational player, maybe a really valuable one. But do you think like a new team would take the Patriots approach? Like this is how they had success with Steph Diggs last year. They used him as a rotational. They picked their spots. Do you think he's kind of doomed to be a pick your spots guy now, or can he return to like being an every snap player?
I mean, I don't think he has to be a pick your spots kind of player in that he was, Denny pointed out, he was top 10 in yards per route run, a really strong number. I think a smarter offensive mind would be like, we'd be happy with top 15 numbers if it meant he can play every snap. Maybe it would fall below that, right? That's probably something they would have to find out, like a trial by fire. Like, Diggs, can you play 90%? Can you run 90% of the routes and still maintain top 20 numbers?
And yes, will I? No.
Yeah, maybe it truly is a will I situation. So I think some teams will definitely want to take the plunge and find out, can he sustain top 20 numbers at a top 10, top 20 route rate, play him in a full-time role. You certainly don't get the kinds of spreadsheet breaking efficiency. You get a player, you don't have to sub off the field. And then there are almost certainly other teams who will genuinely think like we're better off getting a part-time player who's really efficient in that part-time role than pushing, I think soon to be, or like maybe probably over 30-year-old.
He's turning 33, Steph Diggs.
Oh my God. Yeah. Man,
it's over. But yeah, I mean, we can pretend it's not over. Yeah, maybe it's not over.
So I actually kind of, the way I thought of him was Juju Smith-Schuster's first year in Kansas City, where like,
come on, don't do him like that. Come on.
Juju had like 900 some odd yards in that season, where he also took an insane helmet to helmet shot that like put him out for a week, and he didn't come back quite right. Frankly, has never been quite right ever since then. But it did seem like the Chiefs that year took a 1-year flyer on Juju, and it ultimately worked out to get a really good possession receiver who was certainly not at his prime. Maybe that's kind of what you're hoping from Diggs at this point.
I will never, quote, take a 1-year flyer on Juju. You guys, this is not a joke. I shouldn't admit this, but I call my wife Juju.
Yes, I did know that.
Her name's Julia. Come on. All right. So it's not weird. Having 5
Yeah,
kids
sure,
isn't
sure.
weird. Calling your
Yeah.
wife Juju is not weird.
That's weird. Keep admitting things though. We're rolling, right? We are
I
rolling.
know, like I'm on so little sleep, my defenses are down. Like just keep admitting stuff. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Like I take baths. Don't just
With candles
yes, scandals.
and wine.
Tell you something I can admit. This is also completely true. Is the past 2 years I have continually been falling for it again with Darnell Mooney.
You have
And he's the biggest wide receiver 4 value I've ever seen. Surely there's no way he won't get even worse.
It's so bad.
And he did in 2025. I saw some people trying to say it was because he hurt his collarbone in the summer. You never missed time with that, though. Do we care about Darnell Mooney being a free agent, Denny, in a somewhat deep wide receiver free agent class, at least relative to past years?
Not really. You hear that about every receiver who sort of falls off the face of the earth on the spreadsheets. It's like, well, they were hurt. You can't hold.
I know it's always as if it's a good thing. You don't understand. The good news is he was hurt.
He was hurt all season.
Yeah,
all season. So, if that's true, then maybe he can get back to form. But I think he showed last year. I mean, going into the season, there were major questions about can this guy command any targets with Drake London on the field, and the answer was absolutely not. It turns out he couldn't even command targets when Drake London was not on the field. He didn't see anything. I'm talking about special teams dudes, gunners would come in and out target Darnell Mooney. So that's a problem. I don't know if I really care about him going forward.
Kyle, do you care? Our best ball bros, you're kind of our best ball conduit. Are they mentioning Darnell Mooney's name?
No. I mean, look,
Never been more
some of us weren't even mentioning his name last year, so we certainly aren't this year.
That's right. That you were not. By the way, Denny, I'm scrolling through your article. I haven't read it yet. I haven't had time. The article we were going to co-write together, and then Kyle had to jump in. You wrote up Rashid Shaheed ahead of Alec Pierce. You wrote up Christian Kirk ahead of Wan'Dale Robinson. Are these value judgments?
Was I supposed to put it in order of talent?
That's typically what we do.
Okay, well, my bad.
Do you think Christian Kirk is better than Wan'Dale?
No. In fact, I think Wan'Dale is pretty good.
Well, we'll see what you think about that. And
Save it for the next segment. Buddy.
Talk about some of our favorite free agent wideouts, running backs, quarterbacks, maybe even a tight end or two when we come back right after this. The NBA, as you may have heard, has been back on NBC and Peacock all season. I've been watching it all season, including our Throwback Tuesday night with Bob Costas, Mike Fratello, Doug Collins. What a fun night that was. We got more fun NBA action coming up for you real soon this weekend. The Rockets visiting Victor Wembanyama, and the San Antonio Spurs. I'm winging it right now. 7 p.m. Eastern on a Sunday night basketball presented by Xfinity on NBC. It's going to be a hell of a game, though. I got Amen Thompson in fantasy. I hope he's not hurt. Kevin Durant out there, too. The Stars are out on NBC and in Texas. Did I do okay, guys?
Yeah.
You've got because there's a slide that comes up and we can't see your face, but you're just bungling through it when you mispronounce Wemby's name.
I actually know how to pronounce Wemby's name too.
I know you do. You've got a very Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. The curtain's pulled back and you're just Bembandamba, and you got is Aiden Thompson healthy? Just grabbing stuff.
Always safer to just call him Wemby. Always safer to just assume there are no good free agent quarterbacks. We already talked about Kyler Murray. I guess he's our favorite. Denny, do you have a favorite free agent quarterback? Can anyone make you have a favorite free agent quarterback? Will you, quote, never have a favorite free agent quarterback? Where are you at on this?
I will never actually have a favorite. I mean, can we say Kyler? I just feel like he's so far above.
We'll say besides Kyler then.
All right.
Do you know any other ones?
That was my guy. So.
No, give us a little more on Kyler.
Let's start with Kyle and come back.
We bury Kyler.
Shut up.
Some say routinely on this show, and unbury him.
Well, I mean, what you want me to unbury him right now?
Didn't you say Kyler was your favorite?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so you want me to go?
Whatever you say, Pat. I'll pick whoever's favorite you want me to pick.
Yeah. All right. Here's what I would say. When you look at, when he was healthy, when things were actually working, it was a small window of time
pre-pandemic
when things were working in Arizona. but the middle of the field stuff was good.
Muff.
The boundary stuff was pretty good. The downfield stuff,
hitting you with the flag.
the boundary stuff, the downfield stuff was
Okay.
never good.
Okay,
But
thank
what I'm saying is he can do whatever needs to be done in the Kevin O'Connell system. Unlike obviously JJ McCarthy, who they had to strip the playbook bare for him to get.
Does it matter
going.
what the system is though if you won't stand in the pocket and deliver, which he doesn't really do anymore?
I don't know. I don't know if that was just a function of him just not being committed to the Cardinals. I mean, him and the Cardinals have been on the outs for
sideways
years.
for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, going into last season, it seemed like they were destined to not.
It was kind of the
be together
classic
much longer.
like coach situation. Like, dude, why didn't they fire this coach?
So what I'm saying is, I
Lame
think
duck
with some
coach.
buy-in, I think with a little buy-in with the Vikings, they have a good defense, they have a pretty good offense. Kevin O'Connell is a quarterback whisperer. I think with some buy-in, Kyler could actually get back to what we remember when the Cardinals. I mean, they went to the playoffs with him. Like what,
they did really well that postseason.
3
They
years
were really
ago, yeah.
competitive with the Rams.
It was a Justin Herbert style meltdown against the Rams, but it doesn't matter. We're throwing that out. I do think with some buy-in, he could be really good at Minnesota, and he could be good for those pass catchers. And I don't think that he's one to, at this point in his career, run so much that he takes away valuable pass attempts for Justin Jefferson and the rest of the pass catchers.
But then is he even valuable in fantasy if he's not running?
Oh, yeah, right. I know, I hear that, and I would say not as much. I want him more for Justin Jefferson than I want him for him.
That makes
You know what
sense.
I mean?
Extremely important data point on this, by the way. The next Call of Duty does not yet have a release date. It'll probably be November. Maybe though there's production delays this year. I mean, maybe tariffs or something. They can't get the COD done.
GPUs are going up in price like crazy these days.
And maybe the next Call of Duty does not come out as scheduled in November, and the Vikings get a full year of Call of Duty free Kyler. That would be quite something. Do you have any quarterbacks you want to talk about, Kyle? Or Malik Willis also out there. Daniel Jones out there, but functionally a Colt via the transition tag. Kirk Cousins, Joey Flacco, Aaron Rodgers, Marcus Mariota, Russell Wilson. I'm falling asleep.
I have one connection that would be fun for fantasy. Joe Flacco just follows Kevin Stefanski to Atlanta because we don't know the Michael Penix. I mean, they don't know probably at this point the Michael Penix health situation. Let him give Drake London 120 yards a game for the first month of the year.
Stefanski and Flacco are out on each other, though. They pulled the plug on Flacco very quickly last year, and then traded him in the division.
But I feel like that was them doing him a pretty huge favor in that, like, they gave one of their like prime opponents the setup of the century, Flacco with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Like, they positioned the Bengals and Flacco particularly well for a month or however long Flacco had. I feel like they did him a favor in that. They probably could have held out and traded him for similarly nothing, essentially, to a really bad team. But instead, they just let him throw to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins in the division where they were going to eventually, potentially on the health of Joe Burrow, get shredded by Jamar Chase and T. Higgins at the hands of Flacco. So I actually thought that was like almost a sweetheart deal to Flacco. Like, you're not working here, but we respect you enough to like, this is a spot you will work.
My Flacco prediction is he becomes the new Andy Dalton in Charlotte and is the guy to quickly usurp Bryce.
That could work.
Denny, I saw you take a breath earlier. Were you going to have a final word for quarterbacks?
Yeah, I meant to say that I'm just reporting what the spreadsheets say. Marcus Mariota was weirdly good last year.
Yeah, cut his mic.
Listen, I'm not saying like he's like the solution to anybody's problem, but I'm just saying for fantasy, it was interesting the fact that I think he was right behind Drake May in air yards per attempt. Like,
he must be doing the veteran thing, Denny, where he's been in the league, so he knows how to read a defense. Actually,
yeah, right. And with Washington, like he wasn't half bad as far as like what he did for his pass catchers. So I'd be interested to see where he lands. See if he starts. I don't know. I mean, it would be
signing Mariota as anything other than a true number two.
Yeah,
he will pull it. What is quote known as a tie rod and get hurt after 2 games.
He'll be immediately injured. Don't get me wrong on that.
Denny, don't get you wrong on who your favorite free agent running back is. Regale.
I mean, yeah, it's Kenneth Walker the fourth.
Even though he's never been good except for one game, and sure, it was the biggest game of the year. But
really, never been good. I believe he was good throughout his run without Charbonnet in that
It was
back.
1.5 games, but yeah.
Was
It
it?
was 3 games, or well, 2
No.
and 3/4.
It was like more like 2.
Well, the Super Bowl, because he got hurt. Wasn't they play the 49ers in the opening round?
Charbonnet got hurt in the divisional round.
So 2 games at least.
It
Conference
was 2
championship.
plus.
Yeah.
It's like when the pitcher pitches into
Yeah.
the 6th inning but doesn't record an out.
Come on, man. I feel like you gotta eventually just pull the plug on this Ken Walker bit, because he's good.
No, he's not. Listen, you can impugn my football ball knowing ability. Mike McDonald knows ball. Guess what Mike McDonald said all year? We're not playing Kenneth Walker any more than we absolutely have to.
I mean,
I think it's more, kidding aside, I think it is more, he does frustrate coaches by not taking like the right run path. But it's more, I think they're trying to protect him because his violent running style, he's quite injury prone. That's, I think, what was really going on.
Yeah. I mean, you really have to wish cast him not to immediately get hurt with a real starter's workload wherever he lands. It's not going to be Seattle. Obviously, it's going to be somewhere else. And you would be completely vindicated if he goes to Tennessee or something and has 20 plus touches a game for 3 games and then misses a lot of time with injury. But the explosiveness is there. I mean, he does stuff that most running backs can't do. I know that you're going to get your clunkers in there, but a little bit of involvement in the pass game, and he could cook.
The only thing I would say about him not returning to Seattle is that running back markets very frequently do not develop the way we expect. And running backs either end up returning to their previous team or just taking way less money than was projected. With the 2 caveats, the league has placed a renewed emphasis on the run. And the salary cap goes up every year. The salary cap has been going up exponentially the past few years. So running backs might actually get overpaid.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, Kyle Dvorchak. Who's your favorite free agent running back? Is it also Kenneth Walker III, or do you have a different name for us?
I think the correct answer here is Ken Walker. He was PFF's top graded back. He was top 10 in breakaway rate. He was fine in yards after contact. And I think that kind of speaks to who he is. Like, he's okay in yards after contact. He isn't great as a pass catcher, but he, as Denny said, he does one thing that there are like 8 or 9 other running backs in the NFL that can do, is like turn a play at the 50-yard line to the extra point in the play after. Like, he just has a home run ability that the NFL is super emphasizing. Talk about how hard it is to get explosive plays, pass or run. And that's the one thing he brings to the table that he brings at one of the highest levels in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And then he has a lot of other shortcomings that are part of the reason that he's never going to get more than like 230 carries. Like, he was at 221, I think, last year. I think he's the right answer. I'll throw out Rico Dowdle as like, every time this guy gets a shot, he looks like a workhorse starting caliber running back. He was actually he was top 15, better than Ken Walker in rush yards over expected this past year. Really good success rate as well. Good, not great in the PFF stuff, but I do think in general he can play all 3 downs at a pretty high level. He's had a pretty high workload over the past 2 years as well, like in the over 200 carries, 39, I think, on the dot catches in each of the past 2 years. Don't think he's the best free agent. Wouldn't be surprised if he's the best, like, points per dollar salary kind of free agent.
I just would say Rico Dowdle too is proven that he's above replacement level, which I'm not trying to damn with faint praise. He was treated as a replacement level back in free agency last year. I think he's proven beyond a doubt that he is not a replacement level runner, and that hopefully it has a more robust market this year, because he could be a fantasy factor if he ends up in the right place with the right deal. Denny, under the radar running back. Yeah. It can be Tyler Algier, by the way. It
is. It is, because I mean,
I was actually just trying to be courteous.
No, I
can't be him. So other than him,
I appreciate you doing that. But here's the thing: Kyle spelled it out well in the article when he said, "Get this man to Denver," and that is what could make him legit, like, for fantasy, because I know it would be 2-back rotation. He wouldn't be obviously like the unquestioned lead back in the Broncos.
Nor should he be. That would be disaster.
It would actually be. He's the kind of back where you should not even be rooting for him to be a 3-down back. You should be rooting for him to be a 2-down back. I feel like in fantasy, that is, for 3-down back. That honestly just makes him less efficient. I think we should want him to be a 2-down workhorse.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's not going to do it, so there's no point in talking about it. And the touchdown upside with Algier and his body type and the way coaches view him, I think is tremendous. Once, he gets out of Atlanta with Bijan Robinson. Obviously, I know I did the bit for a while, but obviously in the end, Bijan Robinson was much, much better than Tyler Algier. So, but Algier's touchdown upside in that offense is legit. Also, you have a Broncos defense that is one of the best in the league, right? And that creates the kind of neutral and positive game script that would, not guarantee, but for the most part, ensure that he's not phased out of the script like he was a lot in Atlanta. I mean, the Falcons were so bad at times over the past 2 seasons. He's not out there running routes, right? So if they would fall behind and you would have Algier in your flex or something, you knew it was over. Like, this guy's not getting there. That wouldn't be the case, I don't think, with the Broncos.
The Broncos just screaming out for a stabilizing force at running back too. They should maybe aim a little higher than Tyler Algier, but I think Denny could be right that maybe that will end up aiming higher. And then Tyler Algier really did become underrated because he was behind just such a good player. I really wish the Broncos would go that route instead of like Travis Etienne, who's just always a little overextended, he would just be another guy that Sean Payton couldn't quite figure out how to maximize, or there's no guessing with how to maximize Tyler Algier. I think he would be a great fit with the Broncos. Yeah. Kyle, do you have an under the radar RB that you like heading into free agency?
Yeah, I'll go with one who only became a free agent like 24 hours ago, Sean Tucker, who was, I believe, a restricted free agent that the Bucks just chose not to tender, which I thought was a little weird.
That's because you play best ball. Best ball people think Sean Tucker.
What are they going to – what's their plan at RB2? Rachaad White's also a free agent. Or what are you going to get as a backup?
Bucky. It's about time.
I don't think they can carry I don't think they can carry only one running back on the roster. They're going to need a backup. And they may have not tendered him because they want him on a multi-year deal. Like, the tender locks him in for 1 year. And I think it's like $4 million. They might want him for like 2 for $6 and plan on bringing him back. Do you think it's interesting that he'll get to hit the open market? And I don't really buy that there is such a thing as a rhythm back. But if there was, gosh darn it, it's Sean Tucker, who has like 2 games.
Or Tyler Algier or Kenneth Walker even.
Yeah, Ken Walker did a little.
Ken Walker is a rhythm back, for the record.
I mean, he, as much as you hate him, he did do something to prove your theory correct. In that, like Denny pointed out, the moment they gave him all the work, he was just awesome.
Charbonnet has always been the same way, by the way.
Yeah, Charbonnet has like 3 games in which they gave him all the work, and he was awesome in those 3 games. Sean Tucker has 2 such games in which he got more than a dozen carries. Got over 100 yards rushing both times, found the end zone on the ground, I believe both times, caught a passing touchdown both of those times. I like small sample size withstanding. I think that's a very valid criticism of my 2-game sample.
Yeah.
It's been fun. Let's try it a little more, or get him to a spot where he is the unquestioned handcuff. Like, let him be the Colts backup. The Colts have been trying out different backups for like years, and they can never really figure out what they want to do with Jonathan Taylor's RB2. I would not mind to see Sean Tucker score 0 fantasy points for 14 games. Then Jonathan Taylor tweaks his ankle and he scores 25. That's also a fun outcome. And I think he just makes sense as a good value RB2 for a team. Not really even necessarily to be in a committee, just that another player where like, he's good depth and I want to see him get like 2 starts in a season.
To bring all this full circle, by the way, the real reason we had a 5th child, this isn't going to make a ton of sense. A lot really arcane tax reasons. The only way we were able to keep our house after the Bucky Irving 2025 season was if we had another kid.
You got to do what you got to do.
Crazy tax reasons, but that's the truth. If you want to,
I have one thing on Tucker real quick.
You want to see me emotionally stripped naked? That's how it's
the lack of sleep is really wearing on you. Sean Tucker's college profile was tremendous from just a pure production standpoint. I know he had the health issue that no one really knew what it was, and there was talk about like what it could be, and teams were avoiding him. I guess that didn't really bear out the way that a lot of teams thought it would, but I've been intrigued by this guy for a while now, and the fact that every time he gets a dozen touches, he goes ballistic doesn't hurt that cause at all. Kyle, I don't want to see him go to the Colts. He's never going to see the ball. I know.
I don't think anyone will just let him be in a committee. Like, the fact that he couldn't even get a 3rd round tender or whatever makes me think that he's a fantasy and bio guy. Frankly, he is. My hope is that he's this year's Rico Dowdle, where he signs to be like, he's Chubba Hubbard's backup, and like that's going to be so boring. And then he gets the opening and he takes it just because I don't actually think anyone's just going to let him be their starter. But I think he could get in a spot where he forces the issue a little bit. That's kind of my ceiling for him. Like, obviously, I could just be like, let's go start for the Chiefs. I don't think that's realistic.
Okay, I agree with that. Here's another scenario. He goes to Dallas. He's instantly better than Javonte Williams, and it goes from there. That's my hope.
Sean Tucker on the Chiefs would be kind of interesting. Sean Tucker is a great poll, Kyle, for the under the radar. And Rico's honestly a great comparison for Sean Tucker. Occasionally the fantasy and bio people really do see something before the NFL does. I think that was probably the case on Rico Dowdle. Maybe it's the case on Sean Tucker. We've already done some receiver talk, some of the big names. But Denny, we're back at wide receiver. Who is a free agent receiver? Who's your favorite free agent wide receiver? Maybe if it's already one of the people we talked about, you can do your second favorite.
I mean, I don't want to take Wan'Dale because I know that was somebody's favorite here.
Correct.
But
we can just talk it out. It's both your favorites. Kyle or Denny gets the floor first, and why Wan'Dale's his favorite. Then Kyle can piggyback.
I mean, yeah, look, he very quietly cooked last year in a bad Giants offense. Okay, let's just be real about it. Like he did a lot with a little. I mean, when Jameis Winston was in, that was the most fun I think I've ever had in fantasy. When Jameis Winston was throwing to Wan'Dale Robinson last year, that was awesome against Detroit. I don't know if you guys
we can cut that out. You don't want to.
Yeah, even for me, that's way too fantasy and bio coded. Like
I'm just saying, like when he actually gets opportunities. He goes ballistic. He drew a target on 25% of his pass routes last year.
The true Wan'Dale sicko mode game, by the way, I believe was Russell.
Yeah, it was Russ versus Cowboys. That game was like a 40
game where Russ couldn't
game.
move, where he had like a torn groin.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Russ still threw for like 400 yards in that game, though. It was.
Russell
I was conflating. Well, the Winston game was fun too, but yes, you're right. That was Russell. I was thinking that was also Winston. And that's why I was like, what is your guys' problem? So that target per route run rate for Wan'Dale Robinson jumped to 30% over the season's final 6 weeks, top 7 in the league, depending where you cut it off. But he accounted for 34%, almost 34% of the team's receiving yards. Like, I mean, he's probably not like a difference maker as far as an offense goes, but for fantasy purposes, I'm real interested to see where he goes.
Kyle, I wonder if Wan'Dale could be who we're expecting Alec Pierce to be in this market. We're totally different players, but it's been a meme on Alec Pierce. I honestly was saying this last summer that people are not prepared for how much money Alec Pierce is going to make. Is it maybe really people are not prepared for how much money Wan'Dale Robinson is going to make, or is that just not possible for a slot receiver?
We actually have multiple blurbs on the website connecting the Titans to Wan'Dale Robinson. And although, like, for fantasy purposes, the Titans were not a good offense last year, I do think it makes a ton of sense. And, like, does Cam Ward have a reliable target who on most downs can safely pick up 6 yards?
And they already have their boundary guys, too. They have their Kayshon Boutte and Matt Collins rotation a little bit. They have several Alec Ayumaner types. One of them is Alec Ayumaner.
Yeah. If one of those guys becomes a Kayshon Boutte, they'd be very happy. But they have their chances to get a Kayshon Boutte out of the mix of guys. But they just don't have the, like, can Cam Ward have something come to him easy type of player? Yep. They also have $90 million to spend and Wan'Dale Robinson staring them in the face, a connection that's been made multiple times through multiple different outlets. So I do think that, like, if he goes there, I'm just disappointed in the fact that he doesn't go to a great offense, but also, as Denny pointed out, played on a garbage offense last year and did perfectly fine with it. I had him as my underrated wide receiver in that I think he totally beat the scam allegations last year. His career high ADOT was, I think, 6.1 heading into last year. He got over 9. Totally legitimate, just normal wide receiver, volume dominant kind of stuff. And of course, the first time his team is forced to use him as a real wide receiver, he gets over 1,000 yards. He perfectly acquitted himself as a normal, not scam wide receiver in a season in which that's exactly what they needed him to do. And they had no one else on the team. All the focus was on him after week 3 or 4, whichever one Neighbors went down in. And he still had a really good, like, ESPN's open score, at him 23rd or 24th. Nothing special, but he was able to get open at an above average rate while playing a different role. While every defense knew they really only have Wan'Dale Robinson. So I think he just deserves a lot of credit for how well he acquitted himself last year.
Xavier Restrepo down horrific. Denny, who is your under the radar wide receiver option that you like in free agency?
The dream will never.
The Restrepo dream is dead.
Yes.
So is the Nick Nash dream.
All right. Okay. Juwan Jennings is my guy.
He's over the radar, but that's fine.
Oh, you think so?
Pick someone bad, do it. And then let us make fun of you when you do.
We thought you'd pick someone bad. No, do Jennings. Talk about
No. I'll do someone bad.
No, do Jennings. No one's talking about him.
Greg Dortch, free agent.
Oh my God,
Jennings.
Danny, do
Honestly,
someone good.
do
What are you
Jennings.
doing? We said
Please
do
do
someone
Jennings.
good.
So who do you want me to do? Dortch?
Do Jennings.
Jennings. Okay. Now it could be just a Shanny thing where like Shanahan was like, "Oh, you don't think I can make this guy wide receiver one?" You know, like that whole like challenge accepted thing. And if that's the case, then none of this really matters. But 2024, he had 975 yards and 6 touchdowns in a very run heavy Niners offense. 2025 was less good. He was struggling with some injuries. He saw just 6 targets per game. Not sure what he's supposed to do with that. George Kittle being healthy for a good chunk of the year was not good, turns out, for Juwan Jennings. That makes me a little bit.
Jennings was hurt a lot.
He was hurt a lot. He didn't miss much time.
He didn't miss much time. He was playing hurt a lot. He was also playing.
I believe he was a guy who had a triple injury report at one point, 3 different injuries in the same report.
He was also playing mind games a lot.
Yeah.
Too. There was something weird on there.
Right. And yes, there was an issue before the season between him and the front office. Yeah, I mean, I guess the one thing that just jumped out to me in writing him up was that in 2024, he had a 27% target per route run rate. That's really strong. Dropped all the way 19% last year. And I don't know if we can just say that's all injury or whatever, but if he can get back up to the 24, 25, 26% range, I think he could be good wherever he goes. Also, he's a great blocker, so he's going to be out there. I mean, he's like a violent, like dirty blocker, and coaches really like that.
This is a kind of, I think we say this every year, but like a deep and varied free agent receiver class where there's some field stretchers, there's some slot guys, there's some jack of all trade guys. There's guys who have like actually had production. I feel like it's a deeper receiver class than typical, and that we're going to see some surprising big dollar deals. Kyle, who is your favorite free agent tight end?
I want to see Darren Waller play another year. I don't know if he can
This
complete
is the shocking Denny type answer from Kyle. Wow.
Yeah,
Kyle usually says a good player.
Well, there are not. The tight end pool
I know,
is you're scraping the bottom of the barrel pretty quickly. And so I was like, well, let's just see who makes the spreadsheets go burr. And it was clearly Darren Waller. 8th in the NFL in yards per route run, 2nd in PFF receiving grade. He's just a big wide receiver who, again, I talked about like, well, I'm not a rhythm back guy, but like Sean Tucker could be a rhythm back guy. I'm not an injury prone guy. I think it's very fair to say Darren Waller is more likely to get injured and not play 17 games than the average tight end. I think a team could benefit from 13 Darren Waller games. Like, let him be what the Bengals thought they had in Mike Gesicki, something like that, where really we just need to step up and be a third receiver every now and then and explode when we ask you to do that. And then like take some games off because your hammy got tight. So I don't think he's the most exciting, like we can build our offense or our team around this guy. There are not those guys in free agency. Just give me a guy who can have 4 good games in a year. And Waller is clearly capable of doing at least that.
Denny, I know Kyle stole your guy, Darren Waller.
No, I'm actually going
to
go
relegated Kate Otten to the tight ends also out there section, by the way. I can't believe this.
Correctly so.
He's terrible.
Just a guy.
Listen, I'm going to actually go with the best Dolphins tight end from last year, Greg Dulcich.
Should have known you wouldn't let us down. Should have known.
How did I pick like a very scuzzy Dolphins tight end? Like Darren Waller's so old, he's not going to stay healthy. And Denny just yammed on me. I was waiting under the rim. I was like, I picked the worst player, and Denny dunked on me so bad.
No. Listen, I'm very bullish on Greg Dulcich. Wow. He's targeting 25% of his routes. That's what he always does. If he ever gets a coaching staff that doesn't hate his guts and lets him just
first time. This is all time. First time meme. This is your first time doing this. I fought the Greg Dulcich wars for years. I was on the other side of the Greg Dulcich wars without Rakui Bonham.
Listen, I get it. Pat Crane was big into him back in the day.
He was the poster boy.
I'm following Pat Crane's lead, and I'm saying I want to see where this guy lands. Greg, if you're listening, sign with the team that will never ask you to block, please.
You could have gone with Chig Okonkwo there, who you've always been an advocate for.
No. He's bad.
Chig seems like a classic second team, second contract guy. They had an unreal.
He's been bad this whole time.
Brian Callahan as their coach. They didn't have a real NFL coach. Isaiah Likely, listen, and I talked about him last year. It didn't work out, but he's a great second contract guy. Tight end market's actually kind of
Yeah, I skipped Likely and went to Darren Waller. Actually, I just thought Denny would take Likely was really good 2 years ago, and I know he wasn't good last year, but maybe 2 years ago is who he was as a player. I thought that was Denny's argument. So I didn't realize he was going Greg Dulcich.
Listen, how many podcasts are talking about Isaiah Likely right now? A million. How many are talking about Greg Dulcich? 0, except for this one. Now 1.
I'm shocked this podcast was not talking about Chig Okonkwo, but we hope we talked about who you wanted to hear about headed into free agency. And we're going to talk about who you want to hear about next week when the signings will be flying fast and furious. We'll have a great action-packed show on Tuesday. We'll have another action-packed show on Thursday. We'll have every move written up on the website, rotoworld.com. We'll have articles on the bigger signings. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be great stuff. I'm thanking you in advance for listening. Thanking you in advance for welcoming me back on Thursday. I'm a changed man.
Welcome back.
Hopefully for the better. So for Denny Carter, for Kyle Dvorchak, and Patrick Daugherty, we appreciate you listening. We'll talk to you very soon.